Okay, looks like we are live. So we're just going to be okay, we're live. So we're just going to be doing a little bit of sharing this to a few other groups, and then we will proceed. So stand by for a little bit. We will be there quite shortly. I actually have to do a lot of I have to do a lot of housekeeping with regards to this. Anyway, so more options, share to a group. Just give me a while. I should be done with this shortly. More importantly is making sure I don't share this to the wrong groups, but that's just what it takes. That's just the quirks of being a streamer that does more than one game. I actually like it in the long run, so I don't worry about it too much. Anyway, there we go. That's good. So hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Magic Arena Run. Without further ado, another draft of Neon Dynasty. If anything, I'm glad that we're not getting a lot of really great things to spend gold on. Now I also need to find another water bottle. There you go. Got one. Give me a sec. Gotcha. Also need to turn on chat box and alert box, though no one's here right now. That's okay. Hey, well, no one's here right now, but we are just starting. It's not time for farewells. We're definitely going to take that card, but let's take a look at the other cards that we are going to be passing. Sadly, passing Reign of Truth and Generous Visitor, so we might get cut off from Enchantments. Black looks... We're only passing Ambusher, so not so much. We're only passing Simian Sling, but these two are quite solid for artifacts. Also, I've heard that people have been forcing Mono Red quite recently. Passing quite a lot of artifacts too, so... We'll see if we can, what other colors we can get to, but we're not saying no to Farewell. We probably will say no to Satsuki, the Living Lore. She is a lot harder to make work. I might actually just take Intercessor's Arrest because that's still solid removals. Patchwork Automaton if we want to get into artifacts, though it's kind of too early to say if we are actually going to be in artifacts, so we will just take the Intercessor's Arrest for now. Let's try to, if we can keep a good mold in one solid color, I'm all for it. That's pretty much a plan. If we find any really great cards on as we come along, so unfortunately none here. I guess there's an argument for Bronze Plate Bore, though that is super expensive. We didn't pass much black, so we could get into this. We kind of passed a lot of blue. So I'm actually gonna have to decide between blue and black, and I think black is just a lot better, if I have to say so myself. I'm not liking the double black here, but I don't really want to get into vehicles if I have a choice. I think I'll just keep it safe. White black again. Sometimes you go with what you're familiar. I would love to do the modified deck, the red-green one. Didn't quite make it work. I don't think I never got around to making it work the last time. So far, I've only got one draft archetype to work. That was black-red artifacts. That was in quick draft. So at least I know I can do it. It's just not as easy to do so here. So we have some interesting choices. Black's always solid, Virus Beetle, Clawing Torment. We can go Banishing Slash. It is solid removal. We might occasionally get Samurai in the process. We're not even so sure on the black yet. We only have one card that's taking us there. We will take the Banishing Slash. And okay, so we could go into that plus Enchantments at least. Skyblessed Samurai is a solid pick there. There is blue for Tamiyo's completion, but I think we might be fine with removal for now. We actually need to have a creature for once. We are passing another Mukotai Ambusher, but we're not personally that invested in ninjas right now. Well, given the cards we picked, we have zero investment in ninjas right now, so we're not exactly into there quite yet. And right then when you say we're not that invested, the black card they pass you is a ninja. We might just go white-green again for the umpteenth time. There's Historian's Wisdom, but I don't think that's a... Coiling Stalker is interesting. I might just go Bamboo Grove Archer just to solidify the enchantment team. Let's give this a try. Hello, Jericho Elagan. Thank you for liking the stream. How are you doing? It's been such a long time, I might add. Actually, no. I've seen you liking the videos. It's just that we've been missing each other on stream so far. But sometimes that's how it works. Bargain. Return to action. I guess the return to action might be fine here. Not so sure what I really want to get into this time. Looks like the white finally got cut off, and we're going all over the place. At least careful consideration. Careful cultivation's at least a creature. And we get the Moth Rider Patrol back. There's an automated Artificer that we can't exactly use. Ninja's Kunai is still removal. I might just end up taking this. Moth Rider Patrol is fine as well. I think we just take the Kunai for now. For lack of anything better. You're good? That's great to hear. That's nice. Do we take Satsuki with 0 and Sagas? I might just take the Spirited Companion here. So, to Twisted and... when we were young. Yes, actually on the side for now, we actually need a more solid base first before we get to that point. Yeah. So... I've heard there's been a lot of hubbub recently over, well, one, people are complaining again as usual that there's been very little change to the economy, which honestly I think if the status quo did not get worse, at least I'm fine with it. The only additions they added, pretty much there is an audience for the additions. Virus Beetle not getting picked. Eh? Speculate. Yeah. We'll speculate on... We could actually speculate on black now. Though, not too sure about what we have here. Yeah. Actually, I'm already concerned about the schedule I'm going through right now also. Like, the Pokemon Unites... You again! I will take you, but man, I might have to go white-black just to make sure that I actually get the trigger ability. As much as I like the Dragon Spirits, there is a lot of incidental removal that does not send it to the yard. That's probably the one thing that scares me the most. It's really either this or Generous Visitor, but I can't say no to a dragon, which might be my fault. Also, Twisted Embrace is destroy an opponent control, so we can't use it to sack our own. We can use Bamboo Grove Archer to destroy our own, so that is an alternate plan if we have to do it. There is a Behold the Unspeakable, so which is probably the next best card. I could take Sunblade Samurai, Kami of Terrible Secrets. We do have 1-2 artifacts. Nazumi Prowler, kinda okay, though we're not exactly bouncing stuff back here. I would love to take Behold the Unspeakable, but we probably are in the wrong colors for this. This is more of a blue-black thing, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna take the Fade into Antiquity for now. Not so sure if that's the correct pick there. Spirit Sister's Call, nobody really likes that. We do get Sunblade Samurai this time. I could play it safe and just take the Uncharted Haven, knowing that I'm really not solidified in white-green, or... No, if we want to solidify ourselves into white-green, we do take cards like Sunblade Samurai. Also, it's like we have a lot of double white anyway. Yeah, I guess we go for that. We have a Roaring Earth. Befriending the Moths is fine. Fang of Shigeki is really good. Season of Renewal is really great as well. Our creature count is, well, 50-50. Cuff might not be so bad. Last time I went for Roaring Earth. Probably want to have more creatures, but the Roaring Earth is actually more for the green-red deck now that I think about it. I might actually just take... I'm going to take the Season of Renewal first. See if... Okay, we do have Web Spinner Cuff. Geothermal Kami is a pretty solid one here. We're going to take that. Harmonious Emergence is kind of fine too. Though it's more of a 5-drop than anything. Another Geothermal Kami. That's what we have 6 enchant... Half of our cards are enchantments right now, so the Geothermal Kami is not so bad. Even if it's just bouncing Good Boy. So Kitsune at Ace. It's a 2-drop. Buno Poseiju. I might just take the Coiling Stalker. It's also another way to bounce. Hey, we got oh my gosh, we got both Generous Visitor and Spirited Companion. We kind of have to take Generous Visitor here. Then let's see, Commune, Favor. I might just take Era of Enlightenment because it's the cheaper card. So, looking fine. Relatively fine, at least. Grafted Growth, I'm not really interested in. We will take the Bronze Cudgels. I wouldn't say it's a really solid list, but it is relatively okay as far as... Hey, we got the Web Spinner Cuff back, so... it's a good thing I didn't first pick those. Harmonious Emergence is fine. Not so sure if I want to run it, but we'll leave it as an option. We still want to have more enchantments, all things considered. Hey, farewell again! I guess we are swimming in farewells. We might actually want to look into more ramp effects, if that's the way we're going. It's not off. Oh, Anderson Invoke Despair. That's a really good pick, but we probably want to take Intervention. Regent's Authority is actually probably a good pick. I don't think we want the third Geothermal Kami. Grafted Growth might actually be fine as a way to ramp. I'm just gonna be a bit greedy there for once. Not. We are also evenly split, which is a part that scares me. I would love to at least slant towards one color over the other. I would like to get more doggos. Oh wow, we also got March of Otherworldly Light. Okay, on one hand we're swimming in rares, but on the other hand we're gonna have to pass on a lot of staples. Well, Goshintai not so much a staple. The Greater Tanuki is a better staple. But we have to take March. Wow. We are swimming in rares, but we might... I'm scared that we're swimming in rares, but we might still not win. We also need to cut some non-creatures. Okay, let's check our removal. Let's check our not... Oh, come on. I might have to take Generous Visitor again. There's also a Fang Shigeki, Intercessor's Arrest. I think I just take the Generous Visitor again. I don't know why, I'm just feeling it. But now we have to do a sanity check. We're technically 12 creatures with Era of Enlightenment as one of them. But let's see. We might just cut the Fade into Antiquity this time. Bamboo Grove Archer, Careful Cultivation. I think Searchlight Companion is a safe pick here. At least it buys us a lot of time. Blade Blizzard Kitsune is kind of fine also, I guess. For lack... If we combo... Okay, we have a Fall of Lord Konda, which is... It's actually the worst of the sagas, if you ask me, but at least it's an enchantment. And it does become a creature that is really bad, if you ask me. I might rather just have the Wanderer's Intervention at this point. We'll take it, but because we are going enchantments. Okay, now this is one that we definitely will take. Boundless Vigor, if unchecked, will go really heavy for us. We'll also take another Bamboo Grove Archer because it's flying removal. Why not? Everyone loves flying removal. We'll take a 7-tail Mentor. Not sure how great it is. We might end up having to put it in. Yeah. Am I happy with this deck? We're going to need to find ways to slant this towards... Oh, okay, we found ways to slant it toward green now. So we'll make some adjustments to the deck, but we can slant it towards green despite the massive amounts of double white. We should be fine for the most part. Yeah, 13, 11. I think we might end up cutting, say, the Banishing Slash in favor of... we might cut the Banishing Slash for something, just to ease us away from too much double white. Actually, we kind of need to make that cut anyway. So 14 and 9, virtually 15 if we count Area of Enlightenment. We have way too many 4, 5s, and 6s. So our curve is really out of whack. I'm not too happy with the curve, to be honest. That said, I guess we will have to make the most out of it. We will have to accept that we're going to be doing quite a bit of mulligans. But let's see if we can make this work. Otherwise, it's going to be farewell for us. And at the very least, we did get some good rares from this, but I want wins. I don't just want rares. Come on. Let's see if we can make this work. Also in the home front... Okay, actually, this is a I could not ask for a better start. We actually will just grow the Generous Visitor because we do have a ninjutsu option for Spirited Companion if it gets to that. Actually, we have two choices. We can actually just drop this, then just go Geothermal Kami later. It's a shame that we only have one doggo. Our plan also is to hold up March of Otherworldly Light in case we need to snipe something. Opponent goes Clawing Torment. It can't block, but can still attack. Opponent's gonna equip. So we'll take the hit. Swimming in green this time, but kind of fine with it. Also, because our opponent can just do the tree to any target, we're just gonna do this now. Worst, really horrible use for this, but also we have to, it is something that we kind of have to do. Arm Guard Familiar, so that's kind of fine. So we're not sniping this guy this time. You may return an enchantment, so it's pretty much Spirited Companion. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna buff Doggo. Swing with everything. At least our opponent, if our opponent wants to kill Spirited Companion, they have to use up their kunai. That's pretty much the plan. Oh, they're going for the archer. Okay. Okay. Sounds interesting. Do they have a response to this? So definitely swing with Doggo first before we go Geothermal Kami and decide what to do with it. Actually, might as well just swing with everyone. See. But now we kind of need cards. Then again, I still think this is correct because we are still our opponent already used up the ninja's the fact that our opponent used up the ninja's kunai. Let's see, bounce, Geothermal Kami. I'm actually fine with that. More gas, please. Actually gonna put in the Generous Visitor this time. Gonna see how our opponent decides to trade. But now we have to make the Generous Visitor a threatening enough attacker. Oh no, they're just going for it. We are concerned that our opponent might still have an out here, but at the least our creature base is kind of... Oh, if they're going Modern Age, they need to dig for removal, but it might be really late for them. I think we might have this. Clawing Torment makes it a 3-2. Okay. Yeah, opponent concedes there. We were swimming in lands, but we got out of there, so that's a very good start. Do I want to cut down lands? No, because we have 5 drops and 6 drops to concern ourselves with. We have to be very careful with how. We also have to be especially careful with the hands we keep. I'm also wondering about this. I'm also wondering about the schedule too. Okay, this is a solid keeper. Companion into eventual Geothermal Kami again, so we just need to keep the companion alive long enough. Hopefully we draw into other stuff. Opponent taking a mulligan also helps us a bit there. Though it looks like we're going to be swimming in lands again. Okay, Season of Renewal is actually not so bad, so barring an exile effect. It's also instant, so it's a lot better than people give it credit for. Now our opponent is on the tank. Yeah, that makes sense. So if our opponent swings, we could block and I could just Season of Renewal. Alternately, I could just take the hit first, because we want to benefit off this Geothermal Kami. Also, we have Fang of Shigeki. I could see if our opponent offers to trade. Nah, we'll gain the life. Because next turn, depending on the situation, we can go Spirited Companion, Season of Renewal. We can just drop Yo immediately. If our opponent has a fight effect, I'm okay with them using... Well, it's actually not the fight effect. It's more of a punch effect. Yeah, there you go. Another Fang of Shigeki. All of a sudden, the Season of Renewal is a lot better. Oh, wow. So, Generous Visitor. Spirited Companion. We have to put it here first. Draw a card. Wow, Swimming in Lands. If our opponent doesn't have any more removal, we could just go for... If we go Season of Renewal, it's probably going to be for Geothermal Kami. Jukai Preserver. Opponent's buffing... Dude. I might just take the hit again here. Because we do have an alternate, which is... We actually have an alternate here. So we're actually going to just take the hit for now. Yeah, because we're swimming in so many lands, it's not funny. But we do have to spread the love here. See if our opponent has a combat trick of sorts. Yeah, I highly doubt it. We're just swinging with the Death Touchers. Opponent goes Jukai Trainee. Okay, looking more normal now. Still concerned though. Oh wait, cancel. Sorry. It's the other way around. So target creature. So target creature, target enchantment. Now it's both. Definitely want to play the companion first. I'm tempted to just actually put it here, but we might need a blocker for the upcoming Jukai Preserver. Blizzard Blade Kitsune is actually not bad. Now I doubt this is gonna get by unblocked though, so we might be better off just playing Blade Blizzard Kitsune and bouncing Spirited Companion. We might just also bounce the Spirited Companion first, then decide from there. Opponent might now be pressured to swing with everything. That's 5 damage incoming. So we do have a bit of a race on our hands, so we have to be careful of that. That said, if nothing happens to Spirited Companion, we can Geothermal Kami and start going about the rest of our day. Hey, Kyle Braxton! Hey, yeah, peace to you too. Oh, but by the way, thank you so much for... What was that again? Thank you so much for that for that jazz piece. That was a really good one. Let's double check. For those wondering what I was talking about, it is Buried in My History. I'll get back to it in a second. How am I? Well, surviving for one thing. Looks like you're doing pretty well, all things considered. So I might actually just do the same thing. Geothermal Kami. I kind of want to play this again, but let's actually play a good blocker. Opponent being stuck on 4 mana is kind of a thing. Yeah, let's, while we're at it. It did not save in my history, but I'm very certain I listened to it a while ago. Oh, there you go. Horace Silver Quintet song for my father. Very good stuff. Thanks very much for sharing it. I really like it. So we'll just take the... Okay, opponent's offering a trade of sorts. No secret trample. No point blocking the Jukai trainee here. No, I can argue all day about which is the correct way to block. I think technically it would be Kitsune onto the Thermal Kami but it looks like it didn't matter in this case. So 5, 6, 7, 8, we will be able to play Companion into Yo at least. Opponent goes dead, sure. Wow, we did draw all our lands. But at least we got rid of the debt. We can channel this, but yeah, we probably will. We'll probably channel it. It's a surprise blocker for Fang of Shigeki. Not like we need the mana. Now, to be fair, the big run on Premier Draft still eludes me a bit, but we are still holding on. We can still do it. Kami of Terrible Secrets for no value. Did they even have an... They did not even have an artifact. I might actually pass because this is better as a surprise blocker than any. Okay, we will play Goshen Tai. Yeah, thankfully they used Nezumi Blade Blesser. Now it has Menace, which might be an issue. Again, still holding because it's not like we are... Yeah, we pretty much just have to win on the air. Opponent did draw a lot of cards, all things considered. We did draw quite a few cards from buying back Doggo over and over again. But it's still quite scary if you ask me. Yeah, this is kind of... Yeah, we're just waiting for our opponent to have removal. Okay, they're swinging with everything. Yeah, they have to swing with everything. Yeah, kind of have... Now our opponent might still have a trick, but at this rate, let's say our opponent's able to kill Yo, we will have to decide between digging up more cards and Muko type Ambusher. That's the lifelink, so couldn't really do anything about it, but Does our opponent even have the land to replay the Nezumi Blade Blesser? No, Roaring Earth. So let's do a check. This is 4. Well, we're not gonna have a problem with hitting the mana value of this of that card. That's for sure. We might get this. We're gonna get this one, I think. Opponent doing some serious math. Soul Transfer. Ooh. Exile target creature or planeswalker. Return to hand. Ugh. This also exiles, so it's not a great fit. So they had the great removal, but I guess we just have to... We're just gonna have to make sure nothing happens here. Kinda need some help now, though. Because our opponent's gonna be able to replay a creature. Oh wait, it's over. The one lone reconfigure creature makes it. That's actually a one-off that we got on the rotate when the cards wheeled again. That we'll take that for the win, but yeah, that's what I was saying. There's a lot of incidental exiling, so relying on our dragon is not always a solid plan. We did get to do a lot of damage with Yo, so we'll take it. Now, this one, at least we can channel if we need to. I don't really like the idea of keeping this. It's a bit... we're still gonna keep it. We have at least an emergency plan if it gets to it. This might be the first of very bad keeps. Yeah, that first one is a good game. I hope we get the same thing here too. I'm mostly running this off the back of being greedy with having a turn 1 Generous Visitor, but this, under most circumstances, is a... Oh. Oh yeah, I've been meaning to get those stickers. Those emote stickers. I probably will. But it's nice to be able to wave hands back. Now let's see. Does our opponent have the lethal exploits? No, Zeus has many journeys, so we have the Era of Enlightenment. Oh wow, okay, good. Era of Enlightenment. Grow the Generous Visitor. Scry 2, we need lands. Yes. We probably don't need Coiling Stalker. Yeah, I probably don't need Coiling Stalker. Now our opponent gains 3 life back, so it's not too bad for them per se. Okay, they don't have the Twisted Embrace mana. Well, they don't have a creature to begin with, so that's the good news. Azuz has many journeys again. Wow, they're really journeying hard. Fade into Antiquity. Okay, that's a good out. Gain some life. I'm tempted to actually just cast this, make it really big, but there is a lot of incidental removal that makes this really bad. I'm actually gonna just wait for this to come out. Opponent is... Okay, they hit an Undercity Scrounger. Not too bad. Okay, you have to remember also that this guy can't attack yet. If we do draw another land, that's an easy Skyblessed Samurai to plop down. And we probably also, when it becomes blocked, ooh, okay, so maybe we don't block it. We don't have to. Okay, land. Nope. Careful cultivation. So we actually have multiple combat tricks here. So we might actually just pass. Like I do want to just grow this permanently, but we might be bet. Okay, now technically I can swing. It will only trade for 1. I might just pass. Also, no need. Also, instant speed Llanowar Elves is actually pretty good. If I might say so myself. They have their own Goshen Tai. So we actually want to start trying to grow this guy. Yeah, if they have nothing, because at the very least we can start hitting with Yoda Dawn Sky. And I don't think this deck has the incidental. Has the incidental. No, they do have destroy effects, but I don't think they have incidental exile. They do have a little black, so there is possibility there. Ah, scary, scary, scary. Let's hope that things are not so bad. Okay, they're gonna actually let it go. Okay, we'll cycle. We'll make our monk in response. We might be able to just play this guy in if we draw a land, but we're not in any real rush. If any. Heck, we do have a possible trick this into this, although this plus this not looking so bad either. Let's see if our opponent has the incidental removal. Okay, no attacks. Yeah, the Generous Visitor did a bit of a number on our opponent early. Although... Okay, they finally hit their double black. Let's see what that mana is. Is their last card a Twisted Embrace? If it's another exile effect, I'm really going to flip. Yo never had a... Yo's been suffering from that ever since. Careful Cultivation. 4/6. I'm actually fine with that. We can still swing with that, and our opponent would not know why. Also, we finally hit the extra mana. I can make this a 6/5. It will trump over this one. Yeah, let's do that first. Now they might have an incidental reach trick, like say a Favor of Jukai, but I actually don't mind trading in combat. It's not actually the worst thing to happen. And it's not going to trade in combat. They're out of cards. And now our opponent has to scramble for a top deck answer. I'm just going to keep growing that big boy. Let's see how our opponent blocks, if ever. We at least have a combat trick to go with it. Okay. Let's see. They might still have an out to this. White effect, lethal exploit. Yeah, sure, that's fine. But this still gets true, which is more than what I could ask for. Now I might actually just play this one to. I might actually play Web Spinner Cup for lack of any opponent going for a treasure. Though what they need is an answer to Yo. Tatsunari Toad Rider. This. Now I'm trying to remember which one has reach. This one does not have reach. Except by can't be blocked except by creatures with flying or reach. Okay, so this still can't. Sometimes all you need is a big beat stick. And probably just run out the Blade Blizzard Kitsune. We might make it through this, but let's not count our chickens quite yet. Oh no, we're gonna make it through it. Okay, good game. Careful with blockers. We don't need the mana anymore. Yeah, opponent sees the blocks. It was good game. Hey, we got there. I'm actually quite excited. There we go. We might make it to platinum this week. If not, we'll go for it next week. But I'm still hoping that we do really well here. And oh, did I mention I drafted 2 Farewells? I haven't gotten to them yet, but maybe 2 copies of Farewell is overkill. But I've been in enough positions where I'm kind of losing that it would be great at least. Woo! Not so bad. Not so bad. Also, right after this, I probably will start doing a video on the next Singleton event tomorrow. Okay, this one is super sketch. We only have 2 mana for Bamboo Grove Archer, and if we don't draw any more mana, we're dead, so we're gonna mull. This one is so much better. We will actually bin the Farewell. Like, I got the first one as a pack one, pick one, but would you believe I got the rest of the rest in pack 3? Like, I got the second Farewell later. I think that was also a pack one, pick one. But I got the Marcher of Otherworldly Light a lot later. So Patchwork Automaton, not gonna die anytime soon. We will need 4 mana. No, 5 mana, technically. But if our opponent keeps stacking this, we might save with the 5 mana. Because we have to remember we can't exactly target this. Opponent goes Guardians of Oboro. Ooh, that's gonna be nasty. If our opponent offers the trade of the Patchwork Automaton, no, they're not offering it. So if this gets modified, this becomes a problem. We have to assume that the only reason our opponent's running is because they do want to modify it. Ah, yike. This is a scary... We'll hold on the Geothermal Kami just for that. Opponent should be extremely suspicious. At the least, March of Otherworldly Light only checks mana value, so this will always be X equals 3. This will be an X. So let's see where our opponent stacks the counter. They most likely stack it there. Now, ironically, we can play the Geothermal Kami, bounce back the Careful Cultivation. Yeah, let's do it now. It's not... So it gives us some options at least. It'll be really awkward if I have to go for... Opponent swinging will actually take. Because we just gained that life a while ago. Life is a resource. Don't be afraid to take damage if very early. Be afraid to take damage if it's about to take you to 0. Opponent goes containment construct. This is going to start growing, so that's going to be an issue. Got another careful cultivation. Opponent might have a bounce effect, but at least it's a 5/6, so we can actually swing with this. I am not swinging with Generous Visitor. I am tempted to go careful cultivation on it, but I might actually wait. Our opponent did have a combat trick of sorts. My other concern is going to be a big crab. I think that's what our opponent was holding on to. They might have had a crab. So we need to always have 3 mana. Oh my gosh, we have to always have 3 mana up. No, please. I'd rather they played the crab. Okay, so let's play on the assumption they have a crab. They have the trespassers. So, they're just... They're not swinging. Hey. So we need to do some math here. We got Yo. Because for us to barrel through, this is 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. We can make it a 10. They would be able to kill it. We will only be able to kill... We could kill up to 3 things if we let... Oh shoot! I cycled it. No attacks. Let's see if they actually do play the crab. Come on. You want to play the crab. I know you want to play the crab. Come on, it's a big crab. I know you want to. Also, yes, they played the crab. Now, yeah, this doesn't have any unblockability effects, so... But we still have to be concerned. If you're running Cyber Trespassers, it's one thing. Azusa has many journeys. Okay, so they might not have... Okay, we might be able to get through. Okay, let's do some math. If we 6... Yeah, we're putting it here. Let's get the attack right now. Yeah, for once we're actually winning off the back of Yo. Though it's gonna take a while. We need at least one more enchantment to seal the deal, unless they happen to have... Also question, if our opponent does destroy Yo, do we go for the +3, the counters? Also, they might have Tamiyo's completion, which would be a big buzzkill. Not the end of the world, though. It would be a... It would be a big spoiler. Actually, with green-blue, we have to assume they have the Tamiyo's completion. And because they can flash it, it's actually a very mean trick. Like, they flash it in, it grounds... Colossal Sky Turtle, it's a 6/5. Okay. Hold on. Okay, artifact. We don't name creature, we just name artifact. No, there's not even graveyards to worry about. Yeah, and we got one farewell off. That was neat. Oh man, I'm so excited now. That was one. Yeah, we bid our opponent farewell. I am actually going to be kind of concerned about future scheduling of live streams. Like, one question I would ask is, would you guys prefer it if I started streaming later? I'll actually post it again in the comments. Like, it is, because it's possible for me to do a stream. Honestly, it's possible for me to do a stream 9:30, 10:30, 3 hours later than what I'm doing now. Okay, this is again super scary. It's only generous visitor and nothing else. And this is at 4. We have a bunch of 2s and 3. We have at least 12 cards that are 2 and 3. But that's 12 out of 33, so it's less than 50%. I'm scared of this. I might just mulligan. Yeah, it's mulligan. Okay, this is a lot better. We actually won a channel, so we actually bin the favor of Jukai. Opponent does have a 1-drop? Nope. We probably do have one. Oh, and we hit our 1-drop too. So we might just go turn 2 Goshintai. Turn 3 Sunblade Samurai channel, get the planes, then start growing this. Turn 4 sad geothermal kami noises. Inkrise Infiltrator. Okay, we got the planes at least, so... Okay, go with the visitor. I think our opponent's gonna be on solid ninjas this time, so we might be in trouble. We might actually consider... Well, if this were the only other enchantment left, I would still bounce it with Geothermal Kami. A 4-3 with +3 life is still a thing. I'm not forced to invest mana into Goshintai, though. In fact, if it's just a 1-man investment, I'm actually fine with it. It will help me decide. The next draw will help me decide later if I want to channel this or just wait till I hit 5 mana. Many things to consider here and there. We are close to the 1 hour mark, but so far we haven't lost yet. Let's hope it does. This is not the turn. Opponent is looking at their own Inkrise Infiltrator. They might have a way to boost it. Well, they're 1 mana short of boosting it this way. Armguard Familiar. Okay, that's fine. Ninja's Kunai. Okay, so there's their alt strat. Well, if they were gonna attack, I guess that makes sense. So I could swing with Generous Visitor. Okay, trade with the Armed Guard Familiar. Offer the trade at least. I'm actually fine with offering the trade, all things considered. It does make Geothermal Kami sad. You know what? At least we all... Let's force our opponent to snipe the Generous Visitor. Or they could snipe the Goshintai if they're so inclined. Yeah, again, it does make us sad, but... The fact you're not equipping... Actually, no, it doesn't... Nezumi Blade Blesser, so it has Death Touch. Yeah. Now our opponent might actually be inclined... Oh, it's actually a nice combo with Ninja's Kunai. So we have to assume that our opponent is going to try to snipe something. I am inclined to just swing with Kami later. Depending on what we draw, I definitely will just play Goshintai. We'll see what our opponent has a follow-up to this. They're just going to equip. They're probably going to just snipe Geothermal Kami. Honestly... It does mean they're going to swing with Blade Blesser. Oh, just Arm Guard Familiar? Okay, no swing, no drops. Like, I could swing with this just to encourage the trades. Now our opponent is about to start doming us for 3 each turn if that's what they're gonna do. So far we haven't taken that much damage. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I think they're just... Oh! They're gonna swap it out with a 5/5. Yikes. Unfortunately, we have been swimming in a lot of mana for all this time. And that's not about to change. I'm going to see if our opponent is inclined to trade. Yeah, they are. So now at least next turn we are going to be able to stack on the Shadow Walker. Let's see which one our opponent takes out. Or okay, they take out the Samurai, which is actually not so bad, all things considered. Sky Swimmer Koi. Now this is not... I'm actually gonna wait for them to play another card. Oh, I can't challenge. Yeah, so we're actually gonna just end the turn. Pay 1 mana. We want our opponent to get greedy and start stacking cards here. Because they are definitely going to swing. We're going to take the hit. I want them to at least play one. I want them to overextend a little bit. If they don't, that scares me even more. Then I have to start swinging with Goshin Tai. Circuit Mender. Ooh, they're going to gain the life and draw a card. But the flip side is I can just name artifacts and just try to race the Koi. Well, we are giving them a card. Not so good. Okay, now we have a good reason to race. Now there is incidental recovery from graveyard, so we also have recovery from graveyard as well, so that's not exactly the best thing to do, but we will do it just to be on the safe side. Let's see if our opponent has like something like a Twisted Embrace. They might just swing anyway. Yeah, they're gonna swing anyway. There's nothing for them to lose. We are significantly behind though. Opponent has Replication Specialist. We'll swing first. Opponent probably does not block. I do have to decide if I want to just grow this. I don't think I need to grow it yet. And we do need to play it safe, so we'll play all our cards. Now, if ever our opponent has a way to kill this, we probably go wide. Because I could also just put 2 tokens each here. 2 +1/+1 counters each, so Searchlight Companion. It'll be funny if we happen to draw our second Farewell right about now. We will lose web spinner cuff if that happens, but that's acceptable collateral damage, if you, I must say so. Super conservative. Yeah, I would not have had the mana to web spinner cuff into this. It would have been more suspicious, and we really needed the blocker. Like, I could web spinner cuff but not have Bamboo Grove Archer. Although I could web spinner cuff and then, like, in and out. Opponent did very well drafting up to rep specialist, so we are in a bit of trouble here. Dangerous Infiltrator again. So, hey, doggo. So our opponent can pump this into a 3/4. No, I'm concerned if our opponent does have an answer to this, but... So 6/8, so 3/6. Okay, we can still swing. I'm also kind of tempted to swing down here as well, because it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll do it like this for now. Because we can kind of buy time at least. Next turn, I think we start swinging with Goshen Tide. Okay, opponent has to thirst for knowledge, so... Could be bad if they find something good, but at least we know they're spending it there and they don't have it on hand already. So, not so bad for us on that end. Oh my gosh, come on. Alright, also... Okay, opponent... What did they ditch? Oh. They ditched the Prosperous Thief and an island. Okay, that makes sense. Opponent is looking at their board right now. They do have a full grip, so we're not out of the woods yet, and we're both on danger zone territory, but this time finally the dragon proves its worth. Going to combat, going out of combat. It's not overreach. I'm actually gonna but I am gonna swing with both. Yeah. Talo HG, hey, passing by to say hello. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, hello, and yeah, good night to you too, mate. Yeah, hoping everything is well. And did our opponent? This has trample, right? Yeah, it has trample. Our opponent probably. Oh no, opponent either did not notice the trample or they gave up. We'll. And with that, we make it to platinum. That's pretty nice. Woo-wee. Okay, so we're 5 wins in. We haven't lost yet. I really don't want to say that because it might jinx us. Doing reasonably well. I think this might be the best we've ever. I've done better in quick draft, but on stream, this might be the best I've done. Finally, redeeming green-white after all this time. Yeah. I'm also starting to think of how do I give back to everyone that's been watching here. It's not easy, but I'm probably gonna wait for the house to finish first. Wait for my family to move in, and then we. Yeah. Network disruptor. So this might be super fast, and we might be quite dead. Why did I keep this in? Oh well, at least we have a Bamboo Grove Archer on defense. If I have no reason to channel this, I won't channel. I'm expecting this to be a ninja. Oh no, it's not a ninja. Increase infiltrate. I'm expecting a ninja to come soon. So with that, we're gonna stall them out a little bit, or at least force them to use even more network disruptors. We might go for a turn 5. We might go for careful cultivation, end of turn into farewell, depending on what our opponent's board is. Actually, an interesting trick we have here is if I reconfigure this onto that, it's not the creature. So as long as I name creature, this will survive. So we have an interesting trick along those lines. I also have to play creatures too early as well because we have to assume our opponent has some sort of removal. And we need to set it in a way that our opponent is not inclined to just hold up 3 mana and scare us with the threat of crab activation. High speed hover bite taps. Probably the Bamboo Grove Archer, that makes sense. Now, yeah, we're gonna block this. Dude, there is no mana. Is there 1 mana? Oh, but now we have to also name. Okay, so we're also naming artifacts as well. Yeah, I guess we are wiping everything off the board. So if I have to name artifact, there's no point in reconfiguring this. Okay, we'll pass. We want to force our opponent to empty their hand out more or less, so that the farewell crushes them. We can bid them farewell. Also note that we do have the mana, so we can actually wait a little bit, depending on what our opponent plays. We have been super defensive to the point that we can scare our opponents a bit. Let's see, what does our opponent do in this situation? I think they also missed a land drop. They went first. So we might not be able to empty hand our opponent at this rate. Our best bet might actually just to be play Yo and force them to have answers, and then we farewell. Not so sure. But our opponent is tanking right now. Assassin's Ink. Okay, that's good. So we did force them to use removal. I'm tempted to just leave the hover bike actually. No, we're gonna name creature, so yeah, this is a creature too, there's no way around it. It's just There's an Intercessor's Arrest, but we're gonna save that. Nothing for us to really get back. We could have swung first, I guess. That was a bit too premature. But now our opponent is Sky Swimmer Koi. We can arrest that. I'm tempted to actually just arrest this so that we can set up the Sky Blessed Samurai. Yeah, let's do that. I want to play the Samurai first because this is death. Our opponent has the potential to cast Death to the Kami. Modern Age. So I don't want to just run this out into a incidental exile effect. Game Price Infiltrator. We can play our Samurai now, I suppose. Opponent is going to draw a lot of cards and have quite a bit of flyer access though, so that is an issue. But they are discarding lands despite being behind on land drops. It tells us that they have a very down-to-earth curve. 5, 6, 7. So to be safe from a crab, I would want one more mana. Or they cast something to kill stuff. That would also. It'll be annoying, but we kind of have to hope that they do that. Come on, come on. If they swing for combat, of course we block. I want to encourage them to use mana because we're about to drop Yo, but at the same time, I'm not so sure if I drop Yo right away or if I want to drop something else. Let's see if we even have something else to begin with. Because it will be a real big bummer. Moonsnare Specialist. Bounces the Sky Swimmer Koi. Okay, that's fine. Okay, now that is... Oh, they have You Are Already Dead. That's the only reason they would do that. But let's get that out of the way. So still not in a perfect situation though. And they're looking at our... Yeah, this guy by himself not gonna be great enough. I'm hoping our opponent casts Sky Swimmer Koi and hope that we run into something that can kind of save our bacon here. We are going for the Koi. At least we can hold back for as long as necessary. Yeah. Okay, because if I were to trade, and this is a clean trade. That's actually not a clean trade, I forgot that. It's just a 1-for-1. That's... I guess we do the look at the top 7. Oh, but we did bin a lot of lands there. Now it's in random, but that was about 4 more lands that we were about to draw. It's a shame we missed out on the March of Otherworldly Light, but that said, yeah, that was not... This is the part where my mind starts shutting down and I'm already about to make many mistakes. Then again, if our opponent keeps swinging with this, we're kind of free to swing here. And I don't think that decision was half bad. That was like... I don't know how the 4 lands are interspaced, but that's still 4 lands that I do not want to draw right now. So we know there's 4 lands in the bottom. So we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So that's 5 more lands that we could possibly draw. And put an artifact card. Nope, that's fine. They're actually drawing more cards than we are, so... Okay, so there's 4 more lands left. I probably still don't swing. Yeah, we're in a defensive position. My goodness. This might be... Now, the earlier games we've had, we did have land issues as well. As in, we were suffering a bit of a glut there. This time might do us for real. Our opponent is also having a bit of an issue, but at least they're able to draw discard them, so it's actually good. Yeah, that's kind of what makes blue really strong in this format. But now we need to have an out for the flyers. Both of them are in the yard. There is one card we can use to get both back. Yes, we need Blade Blesser, so both Death Touch and Menace. So this is the buy time mode where we're just literally buying as much time as we can. Opponent not automatically discarding a land this time, so okay, discarded an Arm Guard Familiar. Makes some sense. Tribute to Horobi. Ooh, Soul Ripper, that's nasty. Now, if they swing with Blade Blesser, sure, but... yeah, opponent got greedy in that end. We're still in a bit of a pickle though. Our opponent's gonna have yet another flyer. I believe yeah, our opponent does... Yeah, having this incidental makes it hard for our opponent. We can still swing a Blade Blizzard Kitsune, even though it probably just trades with Covert Technician. Or a Vector Glider for that matter. I'm also tempted to just swing with Sunblade Familiar, force a trade with the Blade Blesser, get it out of the way. Also, opponent could just crew a Soul Ripper. Surprised they haven't done so yet. So creature... Oh, Intercessor's Arrest also works? Hold on. I think we just returned creature. So I will still play this first. I'm gonna force them to have a craft right now. Don't know what their card is in hand though. Opponent probably just lets this go. At least they only get one rat instead of two, but the haste is annoying. When it attacks you, may sacrifice another creature, draw a card. Sure, actually I don't mind you doing that. But we're now in a position where we can kind of pare them down a bit. Chump block? Okay, just chump block. Oh, this does not have menace. This is something I need to remember. So let's see, how do they go about this? They can crew this, let's say with a Covert Technician also crews quite well. Opponent knows next turn we just dump Yo. So we definitely take the tree here. That becomes 5. Oh, so he has to sacrifice another. Okay. So 5/4. Just block with a 4/3, I guess. Oh, this does. Oh yeah, it has menace if you do that. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, not much of a choice there. If our opponent has a way to kill. So we're down to 4. Bit sketchy. Probably won't be swinging with any more creatures anytime soon. Or at least none of the flyers. I will still swing with Blade Blizzard at least. Actually, no, oddly enough, if we happen to hit Farewell, I'm probably just gonna name Artifacts Enchantments. We will lose Skyblessed Samurai, but it wipes out their Vector Gliders, and it wipes out the Blade Blesser at least. So we are leaving the Kitsune behind because it is a very good blocker against Blade Blesser. We still need quite a bit of help to not die. If we get a choice to go Yo again, I might... Okay. I don't think they have a pump effect. They might have another Omaiwa Moshinderu, which would be not so bad if I must say so. Tim Sopcock, hey Tim, how are you doing? Yeah, unfortunately we were not going to block everything. There we go. So this is our first loss. It's not too bad, all things considered. I guess that was an argument for holding back the Geothermal Kami. I was kind of hoping to trigger trades, but that was a bit of a mistake there. Yeah, we kind of got antsied on that end. We had to. We forgot that blue black is the ninja colors. So that's our first loss, but we are doing the best that we have done throughout Premier Draft so far. I'm still hoping that we can. I'm still hoping to for the 7x, but can't say I'm not pleased with the results as of yet. Yeah, we're keeping this Bamboo Grove into Web Spinner, another mana for Geothermal Kami, bounce back and forth. Have an decently early start. It's a shame we can't do this into Kitsune, but also it's a question, do I go Kitsune or Web Spinner Cuff? Depends on what our opponent plays. Silver Fur Master. Oh, there's an argument for Goshin Tai as well, but let's see if we yeah, because next turn, barring anything else, we can go Goshin Tai and just start pumping. Searchlight Companion. Okay. We can still block that. Now I could swing, but that opens the way for our opponent to ninjutsu, so we're actually gonna pass. Our opponent is in no rush to... Now they might have a combat trick and it ruins it for us, but we kind of need to get them out of the way anyway. Yeah, now if you having to play an Azumi Prowler early like that is a bit of a bummer. I'm willing to trade, actually. Ninja's Kunai. That will snipe the Blade Blizzard Kitsune. Ooh, missing mana is kinda harsh. Although it's 1 and a tap. Yeah, actually we are green heavy. Okay, so let's see. Our opponent probably smartly snipes a Kitsune. That makes sense. If our opponent swings with the Prowler only, we will block. Let's get as many trades out of the way as possible. Modern Age. Okay, so opponent's gonna start filtering cards. I would love to hit another green mana. Careful Cultivation is a sideways way to do it. Yeah, it's 1 in the green, but I guess I just played the known effect. This is the one I'm least sad to lose. So I'm probably gonna play that one, but now we're the ones suffering from mana problems. Oh my, this might not go so well for us this time. Opponent managed to ditch extra lands. We will auto block. If they have a combat trick for in either direction, I'm fine with it. You are already, that's probably the worst one for us, but I would rather get it out of the way now than have to deal with it with one of my bigger creatures. I'm assuming I get there, but... This time I'm going to have to let the Undercity Scrounger through. This blocking is not profitable anymore. We will have to let our opponent drop whatever big thing they have. I would not be surprised if it's an ogre, but Ambusher, actually that is fine. Lifelink notwithstanding, but it could be worse. So what do you mean he has a response? So I can make this a 5/4, so I could trade with the Scrounger at least once. I'm more concerned about Vector Glider, but... nah. Let's see if our... So no Growing the Goshen Tide quite yet. Lots of artifacts. I would love to draw a Farewell right about now. Definitely not swinging. They definitely are... oh wait, to create the treasure token, activate only if a creature. So let's see how our opponent... okay, they swing with that. They're definitely going to convert this. It's unfortunate that we could not stop them this way, but... all things considered, the situation could have been a lot worse. Yeah, please cast something so that won't have to worry about a crab. No, but there is a Bamboo Grove Archer. I could just cast this now. That seems to be the only flyer I have to worry about. Okay, we can make this a 5/4. I kind of want to hold this. Yeah, I'm hoping to get rid of it that way. There you go. So now we start growing the Goshen Tai again. And we do have a bit of an alternate trick here. But yeah, it looks like all our loss, well, our one loss has been against the yeah, we're gonna trade this one though. Because we know that this is an upcoming threat. Our opponent making treasures doesn't really scare us with the amount of mana they already have. They could play a crab, sure. Death to the Kami. Target opponent exhaust enchantment. Sure. So we're still gonna hold to this. We don't play it right away. Short on cards. March of Wretched Sorrow. Really unloading everything. Wow. So now we need to hit that farewell, or at least something that can, something big enough to deal with this board. Opponent, yeah, they were super removal heavy. Couldn't really do anything about that. Have to actually just take. We can't exactly defend against this. Our opponent is not going to overextend. That's a given fact. I was gonna say they might exchange this, but probably not. Let's channel this for lack of anything better to do. Got another Careful Cultivation. This does allow us to block a few things. But if they have a way to kill bounce this one, it's kind of really bad for us. The most this does is keep our opponent from swinging its Silver Fur Master, so we're only taking 4 virtually. And we kind of want to make them bounce the Vector like there. Okay, that Ambusher is actually still fine. Opponent replace the Modern Age. Yeah, still suffer. Come on, farewell. Give us a farewell. Intercessor's Arrest is fine, actually. Yeah, but we might lose this one. Do they have a way to bounce this? Reckoner's Bargain. Oh, that's fine. It gets it off the board. Wow, they are... We just need to find a way to survive the long haul, but... Thundersteel Colossus. We can block this, but... Hold on, that's 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we have to block this. Yeah, we're still dead anyway. Not too... That wasn't so great. Well, looks like it's gonna be the beginning of the end, guys. I'm not so sure. But... Though in that game, we did not hit our farewell. We did not hit our... I think we had to bin one. Yeah, looks like we are getting out-tempoed here. Come on, let one more win would at least be very nice. I'm not asking for too much, am I? I don't know. Come. Okay, generous visitor with some protection for the time being. We are missing the other white for Yo, but at least we can buy ourselves a bit of time. Also, if our opponent just drops a 2-drop, we can just march off Otherworldly Light if we need to. Otherwise, we just keep growing the Goshen type. Opponent is looking at our creatures, though. Something's up. They might have Wanderers. In that case, let's make them use it. Wanderer's Intervention on that is fine. Still need another white source, though. Although we could Careful Cultivation, give ourselves a monk, and go from there. Yeah, but yeah, blue-black seems to be really great as a Tameshi, Reality Architect. We'll cycle this now. I guess there's an argument for not cycling it right away. But this is like what, a 3-mana. We're not gonna grow it because there's a good chance we're gonna just bounce it in with Geothermal. No, there's a chance our opponent just needs. Oh, that's fine. Gee, thank you very much. Yeah, effects like this do make okay. Fall of Lord Konda. We lose this one. Perfectly fine. Because our opponent is gonna be. And we definitely scry too. Probably should have cast this first though, because we actually want this effect more, but okay, definitely want this up top. Do I want another Careful Cultivation? Probably not. Not attacking. Gonna grow it a bit. Now, Geothermal Kami only bounces enchantments, so we wouldn't be able to do that same trick here. We're going for the Rep Specialist. Now, again, of note, this is not very solid. In these colors, our opponent could easily have like another Intercessor's Arrest or similar effect. Yeah, they're looking at it really badly. They might have it. No, Sunblade Samurai is not it. We're not bouncing it. Okay, Blade Blizzard Kitsune is fine. I don't think we need the extra points. Actually, I'm not even so sure about the Blade Blizzard Kitsune at that point. Opponent plays Sky Swimmer Koi, so if we sing, we're only taking one of these guys out, but we do get to buff the rest of the board. So we are actually gonna run these out first. make our opponent rethink. Oh, they have to go for it, so we will take out the specialist. Now, I hope they're not the ones with the farewell. Because that would be quite brutal. Moonsnare Specialist, they get to reset. Goshen Tie's fine. Moon Circuit Hack. Yeah, they're forced to unload everything. Okay, we got Favor of the Jukai as well. Probably not gonna cast. Let's see how our opponent blocks. Okay, that's a given. We'll see which creatures we can go save. If our opponent just leaves it like that, we win. Yes, sir. Well, they do get to draw a card, but that's it. Wow, I'm actually surprised they did not block that one. I would even throw away the Moon Circuit Hacker. Because there is no benefit to. It's not. You saw the board. There were creatures still there. Actually, having the Saga transform did us a disservice a bit, because I was really expecting our opponent to just go block all the way. Because they know they're not going to get a swing back. Anyway, this is definitely going to be the last game of the evening. Let's see if we can actually get this one. Wow, we're actually close to the 2-hour mark. Wow, I've been here for quite a while. Let's hope that we can finally make this our final 7x. And this is actually fine. Knowing which cards we have the majority of makes this actually very keepable. So I know next turn I can just either go for the Monk and then just hold up Monk, or just play the Bamboo Grove Archer and just worry about it this way. Gives me options at least. Roaring Earth, so we have the time. Okay, sequence is slightly off. Although that is a sideways way to put a counter on our creature. Then we could Careful Cultivation something to give us even more mana. Bamboo Grove Archer of their own. Makes it a 4/4. We do hit the white mana, so this actually is a solid for us. Now, there is an argument for, like, say, doing it later, but no, this is a 4/3 threatening to at least become a 5/4, so we kind of have to put in the Bamboo Grove Archer. Opponent is going to eventually need an answer to the Goshen Tie. We do have a Season of Renewal to buy back the Careful Cultivation if need be. Yeah, I was thinking about taking the Roaring Earth is actually 4/3, 4/4, Coiling Stalker. We have a Coiling Stalker of our own. So if we were to swing with this, I actually do want to do a trade and swing, because we need to get cards off the board. Okay, if they're not trading, I'm fine with it. We drop our own Coining Stalker. And just keep growing it, I guess. There is an argument for not growing this and just holding up Season of Renewal, but there's a very good chance our opponent's removal is something else. They did go for an enchantment, so they will actually have Fang of Shigeki back up, although though our opponent needs to remember that the Ocean Tide has trample. Or we can just go up in the air. This has reach though, so that's a bit of a bummer. That said, oh, that's fine. So this one gives it trample. I'm actually not too scared of that. So next turn we can go Season of Renewal, buy back some of our cards. That said, we need to start growing the Skyblessed Samurai out of range of the Blossom Prancer. That actually helps a bit. Our opponent can also start putting counters here, so it does mess up the math a bit. Although I think our opponent going wide is not the right plan. They're supposed to stack in the, well, that probably means they have an answer. That's a really good answer. So we're kind of literally buying time here. Until we hit something that can take out our own flag. Well, we have another Bamboo Grove Archer, so there is that. Yeah, the Roar of the Earth is doing dividends here. Well, yeah, we'll take that hit because they have the onboard trick. Unfortunately, now is the time the game decides we should get all the lands. We can tap this for mana, that doesn't do much. Yeah, that is a solid rare from our opponent. Also, I don't think we've seen a single Blossom Prancer in our... Well, it is an uncommon, that makes sense. Yeah, now... Yeah, we're gonna lose this one at this rate. Well, it was a good run. We would need... Our out is literally gonna be Farewell. I have to block this now because if our opponent has trample, it's kind of over anyway. Well, we're not attacking anytime soon, so we can actually buy some time with this. Yeah, but we literally need one of our two Farewells, so that's 2 out of 23. Not very... the mathematical odds are not very great. Like, we're guaranteed to take 8 or 9 depending on how our opponent uses the Bearer of Memory. I guess this is an argument for having a yeah, but it's how often do we run into this that Fall of Lord Konda is a good idea? Nope, that's good game. We can let's see if we happen to hit our farewell among the next two cards. Is it there? Are we gonna save? No, it was a Plains in the Forest, so we were done anyway. We didn't get the 7 yet, but this is the best that we've done, so I can't complain too much about it. There is still enough time to do more premier drafts, so I guess we might have another shot then. So yeah, that's the breaks. That's gonna be it for this episode of the Magic Arena Run. If you like what you saw, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on notifications and whatnot. It is very long. At least we have so many packs to crack. I'm gonna crack it as we go along and say thank you to everyone that's tuned in and said hi. Many thanks to Jericho Ilagan, Kyle Braxton, Talo HG, Tim Sopkak. Thank you for passing by and saying hello. Thank you for sticking with me. We are not getting the 7X quite yet. We will get one eventually. Until then, thank you so much for watching. Do check out upcoming content. I am going to do another challenge, the last challenger deck eventually. It's going to eat up a lot of my rare wild cards. Oh my goodness. Hey, another Bosage is not that. Also, we are going to be checking out the next Singleton events. Hey, another farewell. I think that might be our third or fourth. Lion Sash. About time. I actually need packs of Crimson Vow because most of the missing rares I have are from that one. But well, at least we got that far. Not so bad. That's gonna be it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you guys again next time. Take care. God bless. Stay safe wherever you are. Yeah, later. Peace to you too, Kyle. Have a great day, everyone.